Hello YouTube and welcome to this very exciting 300 subscriber special that I'm bringing you. I am, as I've mentioned, using those World Championship decks. On the right, I am playing the Swampert deck, and on the left, Mark Oliver is playing Gardevoir. Kind of neat that they're color-coded. Fun fact, I did that for my 2004 World Championship decks. Don't think I'll do it with any of my other sets. It just actually happened to work out perfectly that I had two sets of red sleeves, a set of blue, and a set of purple. Anyways, so we see that I win the coin flip, and we do make a procedural error here that I will point out. I believe that in the 2004 format, you're not supposed to draw a card on your first turn, but really, I guess I'm just going to say that's house rules, that we're going to keep drawing a card on that turn, because I think that rule's kind of stupid. But I'm going to play down a supporter here. It is actually a Pokemon Fan Club, I believe, which is kind of like a Nerf collector where you search your deck for two basics, but still a really nice card to run one of, especially when you don't get the Dunsparce start. It boosts consistency a lot, and I'm going to be able to search my deck for another Mudkip and a Skitty. And I'm also thinking about attaching a second energy on that Mudkip, and I decide to, and I'm just going to keep bubbling. And so Mark's going to top deck and bench another a Magnemite, which will be nice. He also had to attach a Lightning Energy to that Ralts, which kind of sucks. And he's going to catch up my other Mudkip, which is a solid play. Might stall me a little bit. You know, I don't think the bubbles are hurting him too bad, and he puts me to sleep. So for my turn, I'm going to attach to the sleeping Mudkip just because I know I'm going to need to get it out. And I'm going to Steven's Advice for 3 cards, which is not too fruitful of a play. You know, it's just kind of what I have to do. So looks like I didn't hit the Delcatty, and I'm just going to try and flip and wake back up. Kind of a slow start we've got here. No one's actually evolved anything yet. So Mark is going to reluctantly bench the Dunsparce and try and put me to sleep, but he cannot do so. So I have Mudkip active and awake. I could try and switch to my other one, especially if I can get it to evolve. So he's kind of showing me his hand. I see a Candy, and I'm not sure what those other 2 cards were. But I'm actually going to retreat into Skitty. Oh, and I'm going to play the Wally's card. I forget exactly what it's called. It's Wally something, and it's kind of like Professor Elms, but you actually evolve that Pokemon as the effect of the supporter, not even search your deck for the card. So that way you can evolve cards basically the turn that they're down, I think is actually the ruling on that. And I'm just going to get out Delcatty. It was my only way to do so. And I also get down the Magnemite, which is really great. Because he doesn't threaten me with his board too much, it's not too bad. And I'm going to use Max Energy Source, I believe is the name of his attack, which it basically just does 10 damage for all the energy on your active Pokemon. And I say that rather than that Pokemon, simply because if you're playing doubles, it counts for both. Kind of a silly, you know, extraneous ruling, but hey, doubles, you know, is a thing, and I've done it before, and it's kind of fun. Maybe I'll bring a doubles game sometime. It just needs a lot of space, and it's kind of hard to really narrate a doubles game, but they're fun. So I'm going to energy draw again. Really need to start getting those Swamperts up now and putting pressure on his side of the board. Kind of prove that I do have a faster setup between the two of us. And here I play a Professor Elm's training method, and I get out the Magneton, which I thought was an interesting play in hindsight. It tells me that I probably don't have the rare candy, or I already have the Marshtomps, or something to that effect. I attach a multi-energy to my Magneton, which is basically me just acknowledging the fact that I may need to use Magneton to attack later. And the Magneton's just a good attacker. I think I'm actually going to... Oh, I'm going to discard a Dunsparce using Magnetic Field. And I think I actually don't grab any energy back. I just choose to get rid of a Dunsparce in my hand. And then I bench another Skitty, which is potentially a good play, just, you know, having more draw, and I'm going to bubble. So again, some really slow play that we've got going on here. Mark is going to attach a boost energy, which scares the crap out of me, and he's actually going to knock me out with Curlia's second attack that does 40. I think I already had 20 damage on that guy. So I'm going to draw for turn. I promote the Magneton, just not really knowing what to go into. And I'm going to discard yet another Dunsparce using Magnetic Field to get back some cards. I think actually what I'm going for here is the KO using Magneton this turn. If I can get out some Swamperts, then I could attach some extra energy. I'm going to use Professor Oak's research here. It's Pont with one less card. It's shuffle your hand in, draw 5. So really hoping I hit the energy. I haven't used my draw yet, but I do hit a Marshtomp, which tells me that I definitely didn't hit it. I wouldn't have played that down. So I'm going to be stuck magnetic fielding for, I think, 20 damage. Still no KO. Kind of a pathetic turn, or series of turns, as Mark drops a card. This has been really rough. So Mark is going to try and removal beam me, which actually is 10 damage. Coin flip, if heads, discard an energy, and he gets to pick, so he could have discarded my multi-energy. Bit of a scary moment there. Hopefully, there we see the Swampert, finally. And I'm going to discard a water energy to get 2 back, it looks like, using magnetic field, which is the amazing part of that attack. You can basically just draw 3 cards. And I'm going to attach in Water Call, and I'm in a Magnetic Force, I think is the name of that attack. Don't quote me on that one, though. But Magneton does have a lightning colorless attack that does 10 damage, times all the energy on your side of the field, which will be enough to knock out that Kirlia. So now Mark's going to kind of have to just reset. He's going to use his Dunsparce, which he probably should have done a little sooner. And he's going to grab out a Ralts, a Skitty, and another Skitty, which tells me that he might have one last Ralts prized, or he just really felt like he needed the draw. He might have been nervous that I'm going to try and catch up those Skitties. If I do get a Swampert EX, I believe I can actually just snipe those with Crushing Wave. I think that they actually just have the 40 HP, which is kind of neat. So he's going to actually switch after the Dunsparce move, which I don't like. I hardly ever switch using Dunsparce's attack. But just a moment of confusion there. But we're good. I guess I just missed the Dunsparce switch or whatever. So I'm going to Oracle, which tells me I should be getting up another Swampert this turn. The fact that neither player had played an Oracle up until this point, I believe, is kind of astounding. Oracle is such a good card, letting you pick the new top 2 of your deck. And then I should be just energy drawing into, I'm in a magnetic field first because I don't have the energy. And I get rid of a Copycat, which kind of sucks because Copycat is still useful. Still helps me from decking out. And I actually just go for double Marshtomp, which is kind of interesting. I guess I'm saving my candies right now. I'd like to see a water attachment to the Swampert on the bench just so I can more easily use its attacks. And I actually attach to Skitty, and I attack with Skitty. I don't even use Minor Errand Running, which is its first attack that searches your deck for 2 basic water, or 2 basic energy, I think. I use Lullaby. So a bit of a series of strange plays on my end. And the prize count is still really slow. I apologize for how long this game is. This game sped up at 1.75 times speed. And it's still going at this rate. I believe the prizes are tied at 1-1. So I'm going to retreat from Skitty to Swampert EX. And hopefully be able to get out some more Swamperts, just regular Swamperts. I'm going to discard to get back 2 energy and double Water Call. I did get the second Swampert. I missed my playing that down. And I could just try and Crushing Wave things, but I think it's just more advantageous for me to go for the Ralts at this point. Turns out I actually Crushing Wave the other benched Ralts, which is kind of weird. I should just be trying to take KOs at this point. And so he's going to reversal me up to stall for time. However, with the way that this deck draws and is able to drop energy, I can drop 3 energy a turn, and I should be able to retreat if I have an energy in hand. So I discard a multi-energy to get those 2, which I don't really like. And then I think I just played like a switch or something, or I'm not really sure how I just did that, to be honest. But I'm in a crushing wave and take the knockout. So unfortunately, a little bit of too quick playing. I think I might have played a switch. I think the deck does run one. Because I did discard the energy from Magneton and none from Swampert. So he's going to search his deck using Professor Elm's training method, but really with only one Gardevoir out, my hand size isn't too big. If he can find a way to actually just knock out that Swampert EX and take the prize command back, he could probably draw into that last Ralts. Gardevoir EX is such a good attacker. Feedback is an attack you can play around, but there are times where you just can't, and it's just going to do massive damage to you, and it's just going to take you out at one point or another. So he's going to grab out that Gardevoir EX. He knows that that's basically his only shot at taking out my Swampert, and he's going to candy into it and attach to it, and I think he'll pass here. But I think the other thing that I crushing wave for was just so I think that I had 10 damage on it before, so with the crushing wave it's at 50, which means if I Ancient Technical Machine Rock now, I'll actually knock it out, which is really neat. Because he had to skip the Curlia because he rare candied. So if that's true, that candy might have been a misplay or at least a costly play. But Mark is now going to play down his Town Volunteers, which is a really good card for his deck. It lets him get Psychic Energy back in, which he searches out with the regular Gardevoir, and it also is going to let him put back in 2 Ralts, so he's not out of this game yet. That was a really big play, a momentum shifter for him for sure, if he can search those guys out. At this point, I would now use Search and Invite if he has an energy on that little Dunsparce, and sack the prize to get out the Ralts, because you're not going to have enough. It looks like he's Strike and Runs though, which is an equally valid play. I'm going to attach and Potion off of my Swampert EX, which is pretty nice, and at this point I should probably just try and take the prize. Make sure, you know, if I have energy, maybe get some more on my board. I appear to have used both my water calls on my Swampert EX and then just attached to my regular Swampert, so I have really great board control. You know, I have 2 regular Swamperts, a Swampert EX, a Magneton, and 2 Delcatties. So I have huge draw potential, and I also have attackers with energy. So everything's going pretty well for me right now. I don't think my hand is too big. I want to say about 6 or 7 cards, and I think I actually might have the knockout on that Gardevoir EX next turn. So we'll see how much damage he can put on me. Additionally, if he could get the boost energy, then he could definitely do some heavy damage. I believe boost energy is times all energy in play. I probably have 5, 8, 10 energy in play, so he'd probably be 1 short at that point. He'd be able to do 140 damage, which is unfortunate. So we'll see if he drops that boost energy. He does have the Delcatty in play. He's going to bench a Dunsparce here, which I don't really agree with. He does have 2 Ralts in his deck that he can try and get out, and getting those Gardevoirs out can really help, especially if he gets the ability to use that, not feedback, but the other attack, which he does drop the boost here. So we're going to have to do some Pokemath, which is not either of our fortes, but it does appear that he is going to be 10 damage short. So I kind of luck out there by a lot. Just dumping all the energy I had on the field was really, really short-sighted of me with Gardevoir EX's attacks. So I'm going to attach another energy, and I'm just going to try and put 100 damage on this thing. I am willing to do this EX for EX exchange based on my board control, which is kind of nice that I can just play, as upfront and brutally as I want based on my board control. It's definitely a big advantage. And he's going to play he's going to magnetic field away a weakness guard. And he should attach here and try and knock out my Swampert EX with feedback. I'm sure I have enough cards in hand. Yeah, it looks about 7, and I think he only needs a couple. So he's actually, oh, he makes a neat play here, and he's gonna, it looks like he sudden flash KOs Swampert EX, so Dunsparce doing work. I promote Magneton, I bench Suicune, and I'm gonna retreat, and I attached to Suicune already. It looks like I'm going to now use, oh, I see what I'm going for. So I then use, I discard my Ancient Technical Machine Rock, and I Water Call twice, and so now I'm going to be able to use Suicune's first attack, which I'm blanking out on the name of, but it does a 10 damage snipe to a bench Pokemon. It has to be to a bench Pokemon, and it also gives you a coin flip. If heads, then you can discard an energy from that Pokemon, but that 10 damage proves to be incredibly crucial, knocking out that Suicune, or not that Suicune, that Gardevoir EX, and letting me take 2 prizes. So now I'm down to 1 prize, and I have huge damage potential with this Suicune EX. Its second attack, Reverse Stream, does 50 damage plus 10 for every water energy you return to your hand. I have 3 on there already, and should be able to get 3 more, potentially, if I have them. I do have a lot on my regular Swampert. But I'm down to 1 prize. It looks like Mark's at 2 or 3. If he could have had energy on the Magneton, that probably would have been his best shot. You know, I definitely think Magneton is a card to invest energy in these games. If he had, say, the Lightning already on there and he dropped the boost on it, I'm pretty sure that could have gotten him pretty close to winning this game, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like he's going to have those energy attachments. He's going to bench another Ralts. He's going to Candy up into a Gardevoir. Just, it looks like a regular Gardevoir. Looks kind of funny from this angle. But, yeah, it looks like he Candies. I don't think it could be the EX. Funny. Anyways, and then he's going to bench a Curlia, or attack, evolve into a Curlia. He's going to use Magnetic Field, and he knows to get back the Lightning here. I think he could try and sudden flash me for paralysis. So that should be his play. He should attach the Lightning to the Magneton, and then try and sudden flash me for paralysis. Put 10 on my Suicune, which I believe has around either 100 or 90 or so HP. So definitely a potential threat to be knocked out next turn. But instead, he attaches to the Gardevoir and is just going to put the damage on me. I'm going to have the ability to Oracle, look through my deck, see what the energy in there are, and looks like I have a multi-energy I discard, and I'm going to get back a couple of water, and yep, there they are. So I'm going to reverse stream for KO, and that will be my last prize. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Make sure you rate, like, comment, subscribe. Again, you guys, thank you so much for getting me to 300 subs. This is way farther than I thought I'd get this quickly. I'm hoping, let's hope, to get me to 500 subs by the end of a year. That's about right around Christmas time that I started this channel. So I'll catch you guys later with more cool content.